databases? Actually hands-on or something, anyone?
Yeah, familiar. I'm familiar.
Okay.
To an extent, yeah.
Okay. So we'll discuss about what is a database, right? And about some types of databases like relational databases, about NoSQL databases, right? About the data warehouse, right? And we'll discuss about databases on AWS, right? So various types of database offerings, right, from AWS. Like we have RDS, Relational Database Service, right? And then Amazon Aurora, right? DynamoDB, Redshift. So all these things we'll discuss, some theoretical part about it, and then we'll be doing some hands-on, and I'll be giving some demo, right? So launching an RDS Mysql instance, right? So modifying RDS instance, right? Connecting to DB instance, right? Creating high availability deployment, right? And then you have Aurora DB cluster, and then DynamoDB table creation, right? So all these things I have planned for today, right? So this is something important topic, right? So we'll spend some time on this, right? So kindly pay your attention, right? So we begin with the our first slide on database, right? So what is a database, right? So anybody wants to speak about it? What do you understand by a database? Just in simple term.
Repository for data.
Yeah, good. Any other term anybody wants to say? Correct. So that's right, as Pradeep said. So it is a system, right? It's a system for storing data, for managing data, right? So in very simple terms, if I want to define it, so I'll just say a database is a system of storing and managing data, right? So it's a system for storing and managing data, right? So just think of a library, right? So if library is analogous to database, right? So what will be there in the library? We'll have books, right? So books will be analogous to what? If library is analogous to database, so books in the library will be analogous to what? Analogous to data?
Access.
Correct? Correct?
Yeah.
Just visualize. Yeah. So you might have heard about various types of databases, right? So say like some kind of relational database or NoSQL database, right? Some kind of object-oriented database, some kind of different terminology like distributed database, right? Some graph database, some document database, right? Some cloud database, right? So different terminologies you might have heard based on the context, right? So let's discuss about what is a relational database, right? Heard about relational database? Heard about some databases like MySQL or Postgres or DB2, something like that, right? So these relational databases store and provide access to data that are related to each other, right? So in relational databases terminology, say like this we call as tuple, and this is attribute. So this tuple means this is row actually. You call it a row, right? Or you call it a record, right? And here you have attribute, or you call it a column, right? And there will be some relation between the two, right? So items in a relational database. Here you will have items, right? So items in a relational database are organized as a set of tables. So you will have a table, right? In that table, you'll have some columns and some rows, some attributes, right? Here will be kept here, right? So it's like very efficient, like for accessing information, right? So main thing is, right? So items in this relational type of databases are organized as a set of tables, and tables will have columns and rows, right? So then you have something called NoSQL database. So what do you understand? NoSQL means what? This is a non-relational database, right? So NoSQL database means, right, there is no relation between this column or row, or those things are not mandatory here, right? So this NoSQL stands for not only SQL, not only SQL, or you can also call it as non-relational database, right? So this will allow you, right, to store, right, what kind of data? Unstructured data, right? Data which may not have a structure, right? So it may be difficult for relational database to handle such situation where there is no relation between the column and the row, right? Between the different types of data items, right? So this will be, say, like helping you in storing unstructured kind of data or partially structured data, right? So that would be easy to store and manage. You might have heard about MongoDB or Redis, right? So these NoSQL databases can also store whatever was stored by relational database, right? But it will be in a different way, right? So I'll be showing you, right? So here the related data doesn't need to be split between the tables. Yeah. So in case of relational databases, we just define schema where we define the tables, right? Where we will have certain keys, certain relation between the column and the row, between one table and the other, like that. So we just have to focus on the structure there, right? Now here the most popular form of NoSQL database can be simple key pair, key value pair. You remember in S3 we were doing that key value pair, right? We are giving some key and we are giving some value. Still we are using for tagging purpose, right? We are putting some key, giving some value. You can understand like kind of NoSQL database, right? So here what happens, we'll have from Amazon we have that DynamoDB. So I'll be explaining you about DynamoDB, right? Right. So we'll do some hands-on as well, right? So some kind of database like document database, right? So there might be a situation where, right, many times in application code, data would be represented as JSON like document, right? Like we have been using JSON, correct? So sometimes in the application code you are using some object, or you are using representing the data as JSON like format, right? So what it does is makes it easier for developers to store and query data in the database, right? Some kind of document model format will be used, right? And in the code, right? So it will be easy for developers, right? So we'll be doing some hands-on on DynamoDB, so you'll have a better understanding. Okay. So in AWS, right, what kind of databases are offered, right? So I'll be walking you through, right, the various options, right? Whatever offerings are there, right? So for now, you just see here, right? If we have on-premises database, so, right? So that can be monolithic, kind of huge database, right? And a lot of maintenance and other aspects related to that, right? So in case of here, whatever is offered, so you can see like you have some options like you can store data in S3, you can use that NoSQL concept here in DynamoDB, or another NoSQL options also there, or you can use some kind of relational database offerings, right? So about RDS, so let me just explain you about the RDS here, right? So what it does is you have managed relational database service, easy administration, it's highly scalable, available, durable, good performance, security, right? So from the client, the network firewall, internet gateway, you have a subnet, right? So in that you have RDS DB instance. So let me explain this, right? How relational database management is helpful, right? So in case of on-premises, right, we have to take care of multiple aspects, right? So say like if you are running a relational database in on-premises system, right? So you have the server, right? Say like you have the server hardware, right? You have to take care of that, right? So that will come with the chassis, right? Server hardware will be there, so that will have some chassis, right? You may have some server rack, correct, right? So and for that server hardware, right, you require networking, right? So you may have certain routers or switches, right? So all those things you have to manage, correct? And at lower level you may have some power supply with redundancy and all those things you have to handle. So you have to handle the power supply also, right? Some kind of you say cooling arrangement also you have to make, right? Cooling arrangements also you need to make, right? So you require what you call AC as well, right? So you have to maintain that as well, right? So with this server hardware, you have to take care of CPU, you have to take care of memory, you have to take care of hard disk, right? Now, whatever may be the utilization that you have to take care. Now, whatever level it goes, right? Say like if it is full or something, so that also you have to handle. Say like CPU is completely utilized, so it is your headache. You have to maintain that. You have to handle that, right? And you have to take care of security aspects also, right? Agree? Am I audible?
Yes, yes, Harish.
Right. So you have to take care of the utilization. Thanks, Pradeep. So you have to take care of security, correct? So all those aspects you have to take care up to this hardware level, correct? Now, above that, right, you will have operating system, correct? Who will take care of the patching, right? So patching also you have to take care, whether it is a minor upgrade or major upgrade or whatever, everything you have to take care. Now here story doesn't end. Here you have to take care of the backup, correct? What else? If you are taking a backup, if it is required, who will do the restore? I take care of restoration of from the backup, right? So we need to take a backup and need to ensure that backup is durable, correct? It should be durable. So its durability you have to handle, and when it is needed in case of emergency, that time we should be able to restore from it, right? So that we have to ensure. Then you're going to write SQL queries, right? After managing all those things, right? So then you can run the write the SQL queries actually, and then you can run it, correct? So this is the situation, right, where we are managing all of these aspects, right, when it's there in on premises, right? So when we are managing on premises database, right, so in that case we are managing all these things, right? Agree, all of you? These are all aspects. Who manages? We manage, right? In on premises, right or wrong?
Yes, managed by the company.
Managed by the organization, managed by the owner of the organization, right? Employee of the organization, right? So now we are managing this if we are running our database in on premises. So what if we want to manage, we want to run our database in EC2? We have EC2 server, right? EC2 instance, correct? We deployed EC2 and we were running Apache, correct? Web services, right?
Yes.
Correct. So if we are doing it at EC2 level, what all things we have to manage in EC2? From which level we are managing?
Application level.
OS, who is managing EC2?
AWS.
No,
No.
we are only installing RPM and all. You saw
Right.
that at
Yeah. OS
that
we.
operating system also we only install, right?
Yeah. Windows RH.
Yeah, correct. So what they are giving is other infrastructure below that OS level, correct? So up to this level, right? So I'll just remove this here. So from this level, right? You can say up to this level, right? Correct. Who will be managing up to this level?
We are managing.
No, below. This is below. You see,
Okay, below.
for
So
EC2. This one is we manage, right? Entire thing we manage, right? For on-premises. Now for EC2, who will manage this much, these many things like power supply, right? Networking, server hardware, right? Then CPU, memory, all those things. Up to this level, who is managing? AWS, right?
yes.
So up to this level, AWS is managing. And now you have OS backup, SQL queries and all those things, right? So this part, who is managing? We manage, right? Managed by customer, right? So we manage, right? So this part we manage. Here, everything we only manage, right? Now what we can do? We can do patching or whatever, upgrade or whatever for the OS, right? We can no, define the policy. We can no, have our DB on top of operating system running, right? We can install database and we can keep it running. We can take backup, right? And we can ensure it is available, right? Some EBS snapshot we have to take, correct? And then we can put it in S3, right? So backup we need to take, we need to put it there, and in case of emergency something, we need to restore it. Agree, all of you so far? On the same page? Correct? Prashant?
Yes.
Please confirm.
Yes, Harish.
Right? So now, if we talk about RDS, right? We talk about RDS, right? So what will happen there? Just guess, tell me. What we will manage? This SQL query is there, right? The final part.
Yes.
So if it is RDS, on RDS, so we only manage what? Writing SQL queries. That's it. So all these components, right? Whatever these components are, right? Everything managed by Amazon. Right? Got it? So
Okay.
up to this level, below this level, whatever you see, everything managed by AWS. So what we are doing, we are only managing the SQL queries, whether it is power management or it is cooling or networking or JC has gone bad or server rack has some problem or there is some kind of high CPU utilization or memory is not enough, right? Or RAM is some problem with the RAM, right? Faulty RAM. Or operating system got some kind of issue or some kind of management related to OS, some kind of database is having some problem that some upgrade is required, right? Some backup needs to be taken, and then in case of emergency it needs to be restored, right? All those things managed by RDS, right? So what happens? What are the benefits here then in that case, right? So the entire operational burden, right, of doing all these things gone from our side, correct? So can I say the benefit is operational burden reduced, correct? I will say reduced operational burden, right? So what else happens here? What are the choices on RDS? So we'll have, say, like all the popular things, right? So we have MySQL, right? We have Aurora, right? Meant for cloud, right? Built for cloud, right? From the scratch. Now we have Postgres. You might have heard, right? PostgreSQL, right? Postgres we can pronounce, right? So, and we have MariaDB, right? So all these options are there. I'll show you, right? So these options. So what we can do here? say like some situation is there where you need lot of read, right? Sometimes happens, right? So sometimes database is there, so it's not necessary that you only have to write there. Agree? Some database is there where you have to just do some kind of read operations, lot of read operations. Read, little bit of write, very few write. Then what you will do? Say like DNS database is there, right? So what happens? Mostly people will be querying the DNS servers, right, for getting the IP address, for getting the say like a name from name to IP address, right? So you are just giving some google.com or something, and then some IP address is coming, right? So you are just querying it. You are just doing a read request. You are not writing anything, right? So if you have tremendous read request, right, so you can create what? A read replica. Read replica, right? So what it will do? Understood? It can offload whatever burden is there on the primary server, right? So like you can have one primary server and you have a secondary server. So like that you can create a read replica where in the primary server it will be handling the write requests, right? And you will have a secondary server where all those reads will be happening, right? So you can understand for the write operation how much the performance will increase when this system is not bothered again and again for the read request, right? So primary is just handling the write request, and all those read requests are handled by multiple secondary read replica, right? So we'll have huge performance, right? And then apart from all these things, again, we discussed about this backup, right? So we'll have backup will be automated here, right? And what we'll have? We'll have OS patches taken care, and then there is something like DB engine minor version upgrade. So we'll have certain this kind of DB engine, right? So we have some kind of upgrade, right? So whatever is the version, right? So say like a.b.c, right? So minor version, and say like this will be major version, and this will be minor version, right? So if there is minor version upgrade, say like 5.7.21, 5.7.22. So from 21 to 22, say like this 5.7 is say like major version. So from 21 to 22, some minor version upgrade is to happen, right? So all those things can be done automatically. Nothing is required from your end, right? So everything is almost taken care. You can choose the window. Say like you want on Sunday 1 a.m. and you say that from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. I'm giving you time. So this is the window I'm selecting, 2 hours window. Within that 2 hour window only you do these things, right? So within that time it can happen, possible, right? So we will also discuss about high availability, how in multiple availability zones, right? How these services can be deployed so that we will have redundancy. We'll have redundancy from primary. There can be failover to the secondary, right? So can I clear this screen? If I clear, then I can explain you about high availability.
Sure.
Okay. So let me clear this. Okay. So we have some concepts of multi-easy deployment, right? So this is for high availability. Okay. What happens? This is how things will be designed in production environment, in the real time production environment. So you will have, say like, you have your own region, right? Which region you want to choose. So my favorite is US East 2. Okay. So what I do, I will have my VPC created there, right? So I'll have my VPC, right? So I'll have my VPC there. Within my VPC, what will I have? I'll have my availability zones, right or wrong?
Yeah.
Right. So say like, I'll just represent like this. Right? So I will have some, availability zones 2A, 2B, 2C, correct? So say like this is my 2A, this is my 2B. Let me explain with 2. So minimum availability zone can be 2, right? So let me explain with this, right? So I have my master, that DB server running here, right? And this is say like, you can say RDS DB, right? Primary instance. This is called, say like, primary instance. So here you have primary instance, and here you have, say like, secondary. Okay, so just say RDS, right? What? DB secondary, standby user, standby, right? So here this is live, this is also live, right? So both are live here. You have just subnetting, right? So you define some subnet, say like, you defined here, say like 10 series or something, 10.0.0.0/, something 28 here, right? And here you just defined say like 10.0.0. How many will be taken? Can you recall here? From where I can begin? Anybody remembers? We did some calculation, right, in our previous classes. So if I am choosing 28, right, from where I can begin this octet? How many will be taken, right? If it is 28/28. Forgot? Tell me.
5 will be taken.
32 minus 28. 2 raised to n. How much? 4, right? 2 raised to 4. 16. Starting from 0 up to 15. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
So this will be starting from 0. It will go up to 15. Then can I take 16 here? Tell me. Right? Let me take 16 here then in that case. So say like my subnet here is defined like this, right? Now what will happen between these two, right, from here to here, right? So there will be some kind of from here to here. What will be going on? Tell me. Some replication. Some replication should happen here. So we'll have some kind of replication. What is that? I'm just denoting that as replication. See, data needs to be replicated. Otherwise, how these two will run in parallel? Correct. So, and that replication will be synchronous. synchronous. It will be simultaneous, right? So it should not, there should not be any delay. Data replication must be synchronous, right? Who should manage that? Should be managed by AWS. Should be managed by AWS. Okay, making sense? Right. So like this only we will design production environment. Right. So production environment will be this multi-availability zone. Right. What is the benefit? How many live copies of data?
Two copies.
Yeah. So we have here in this case 2 live copies of data, right? We can have multiple live copies of data, right? And we can switch, right? Very easily. We can switch to the live copy of data very easily here. And this gives us, right, the most important term, that is here, high. Tell me. High availability. Correct? Correct? Say like you have network issue here. All of us are following. How many are there? I think, okay. Okay, so some power issue actually at Pradeep's end. So today, little bit, we know he'll be on and off, so he'll be going through the recording, right? Sri Devi, you are able to hear us? Oh, looks like Prashant, you're there, right? Prashant, please unmute. Hello.
Sorry, Harish, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, sure. So I think only you and I, that's it.
Is it?
Yeah. So I think Pradeep has some power maintenance something. So today, little bit on and off, he will do that. So already, so Sridevi, I think something wrong with her network or something. So okay, so please. So you understood, right, Prashant? Here, so this is
Yes.
this is giving us a situation where if there is any, say like compute related issue here, or if there is any kind of say like network related issue here, right, in the primary node, right, if there is some kind of storage failure here, right, correct? Now what will happen? If a storage failure is there, then what will happen? It will switch to secondary, right? And who will do that? Who will switch that? Will I have to do that?
No, the load balancer, I think.
Yeah, this will be taken care automatically by RDS. Who will be taking care? RDS. So this secondary, say like if some problem here that volume storage has failed, some network issue happened, this availability zone is gone, whatever. So now this particular standby, right, becomes the primary. This becomes the primary, and then this primary where we had a storage issue or some kind of problem or something, that will be replaced by the new system quickly, right? And then that will become, once it is created, it will become what? Primary or secondary?
Pardon, Harish?
Say like this primary storage failed, right? Some problem happened with the primary this DB. Now that standby became the primary database instance now, right? So this, the bad one, right, will be replaced by a new one.
Correct.
Now that new one, it will become primary or secondary?
Secondary.
Yes, yes, correct, correct. So that new one will become secondary because we already have one primary running now, right? So later you can decide, right? There is no difference, right? So this is like, this becomes primary, there is no interruption, so this will be going on, right? So actually this RDS, right, is built on what? This RDS is built on EC2 and EBS only actually, right? So what happens, I'll just go to another page and I'll just, okay. So you have the RDS DB instance, right? So you have S3, right? So how we were taking backup, you remember?
Yeah.
So like that only, that backup will be taken here from this to that S3. This is a snapshot, right? So say like, you can define to take the backup once in a day, right? So this backup will be taken. You can choose a retention period actually. Choose retention period, right? So this snapshot backup is taken at S3, right? And you know about S3, the durability of S3, that is world famous, right? So it will be replicated. It won't be in one place or one availability zone or something. So it will be replicated, and the durability, you have been hearing about 11 nines of durability, 11 nines of durability. So much of durability you are having, right? So much of high durability, right? So like this. So actually it is built on same thing, that EC2, that EBS, right? So whatever, no, that's why I told, if we go on do that on EC2, the only thing is we need to maintain things, we need to do a lot of operations, some kind of operational overhead will be there. Here what happens, you just choose the, say like, backup window, right? You decide the backup window when you want, right? So you just choose the backup window and that will happen, right? So exactly same, nothing to nothing different actually. EBS snapshot we did, right?
Yeah.
So same as EBS snapshot only, right? So it will be written, say like 35 days or something, right? So, and you want to restore, you can choose the retention period. So you can restore easily, correct? Because that will be point in time. You want to restore to a particular date, a particular day, right? So based on that, you can just decide what, say like 5 days ago, whatever snapshot was there, you want to restore from there, right? So those options are similar. So what happens, this backup, you remember when we were taking the snapshot, we had copied our snapshot to different region only.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So that backup can be copied to different region altogether. Okay. So this backup, say like will be copied to say like region 2, say like region 1, it is there. Now, what benefit you got? Any kind of disaster
We'll be able to restore it. Yeah.
at region level, it can sustain. How big benefit?
Right, right.
Right. So all those things are there, right? So now what we can do, we can try to see something, right? Because a lot of explanation and theoretical concepts I have told you, right? So this is what I tried to show here, right? Yes, see this multi AZ deployment, right? So this is what I was explaining, right? So we have in multiple availability zone, right? So RDS standby replica DB instance. This is the DB instance here provides high availability and durability for RDS DB instances. Automatically creates primary DB instance synchronously replicates data to standby instance in different availability zone. In case of failure, RDS performs an automatic failover to the standby, right? So let's go ahead and launch one RDS MySQL instance. Shall we do that?
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to AWS Web Console.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So let me see if more people have joined already. Not sure who else joined so far.
I'll just log in, Harish.
Sridevi, you joined? I think she is not there so far. She cannot hear. Okay. Yeah, Prasant. So you just log into AWS Management Console?
Yeah. Give me 1 minute.
Sure, sure. Please take it.
Yeah, Harish, I've logged in.
Yeah, good. So here on the AWS Management Console, right? You just type RDS.
Yeah, I got it.
Right. So here you see Managed Relational Database Service, right?
Yeah.
So this is Relational Database Service managed by Amazon, right? So just click on that. So this is what we have been discussing, right? So this RDS, right, is a Amazon Relational Database Service managed by Amazon only, right? So now you see on the dashboard. So this is, you can call it as RDS dashboard, right? So this is RDS dashboard. Here on the top, are you also getting this notification?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So this is about the Aurora, right? So Aurora also we'll be looking at, right? So this is really another great option we are having, right? So this is another DBMS compatible with MySQL and Postgres, right? So this is really great thing. See, $1 per day, and then Aurora supports up to 64 terabyte of auto scaling storage capacity. So that's huge. And then 6-way replication across 3 availability zones and 15 latency read replicas, low latency read replicas. So we're hearing about that read replica, right? So 15 low latency, very good response will be there. So right, low latency means good response, right? So very low response time, right? So 15 low latency read replicas, 6-way replication, like all those features we'll be having for upload. So for now, you just close this notification. Just see here, you have a button called Create Database.
Yeah.
Okay, so just click on that. You see some feedback is coming. We listen to your feedback, create some notification, create a database with a single click, like that. Some option has come, right?
Yeah.
So this is related to some new changes that has happened, right? So this interface, this graphical user interface has recently been changed, right? So now this is beautiful and it's easy, and in same page you are having this button as well, create database. You don't have to move next, this, that, and all. So you have everything here. You just have to expand some options, right? And then you have to choose things. So this I really like this interface as compared to the previous interface, right? So this is awesome, right? So just close. So if you want, like, if you are comfortable with the original interface or something, so you can switch from by clicking on this button, right? Switch to your original interface, right? So if somebody is not comfortable and if they find the previous one better, so they can switch. So that choice is there so far, right? So later they will slowly go away with this choice, right? So now you just so every day you will see some new changes, right? So it's so dynamic, right? So every day you will see some new changes. You remember I had taught about that storage, right? Provisioned IOPS,
Yeah. Yeah.
SSD, right?
Mhm.
So there I had told about IO1, correct?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you might have seen we had like SSD that provisioned PIOPS option was there. There we had IO1, and few days ago I found IO2 also came.
Correct.
Yeah, so we need to watch what is new, right? So here you just close that notification. You see here standard create option is there, right? So this is, right, you will have all these configuration options. We can set those configurations. So let's keep standard create, right? So this is for best practice recommendation. So let's continue with the standard create, and we will be launching this MySQL. Please choose this MySQL option.
Yeah. Arish, I got a error loading resource when I said that the create database button.
Did you click? Okay. Again, you try. Here on RDS page, you clicked on this create database, right?
Yes. Yes.
Again, you try. There might be some network glitch. Just try one more time.
Yeah. Now it is fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Now
So
click what?
now on the very first page here, you choose. It's by default standard create only, right?
Yeah. But again, it went to error loading resource.
Oh, so you are not having this particular page?
Yeah, it was showing that page, but again, it's showing error loading.
So looks like some network gap. So please try to ping some google.com or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Google.
You're able to ping google.com from command line?
I can go.
Just ping like this. Just say ping -t google.com and look for the consistency. What is the response time you're getting? Say like I'm getting some 27 millisecond, 26 millisecond, like that, right?
Okay.
So just see how much, what is the latency?
1 minute.
And is it consistent, or it's saying like request timeout or something?
It's consistent.
It's consistent. Consistently you're getting some response, right?
Yeah.
let that run in the background, right? And then you just again go to RDS and then click on create database.
Okay, it shows that screen.
So far it is good.
Yeah, I have come to the screen. I can see the screen.
Now you click on MySQL.
But again, it went back. It will show that screen for a moment, then it's going back.
Oh, looks like no, some problem. Maybe some.
Yeah, the timing, see here, when I ping that, it shows 25 milliseconds, sometimes 31, sometimes 74 milliseconds.
And anytime request timeout.
No.
Okay, that should be okay. So maybe network glitch or maybe some which browser you're using. Browser should be okay. All browsers are supported. Chrome here is?
Chrome.
Chrome is good. So not sure if any firewall or something should not be there for this. It's just a web console, right?
Yeah.
Just close the browser and or clear the cache and try again one more time.
Okay, I'll use Internet Explorer and try.
Yeah, you just try.
Okay, I'll try.
Perfect. So you have chosen MySQL. You see these options here, right? Multiple options here. Correct. You have Aurora, you have no MySQL, you have MariaDB, you have Postgres, you have Oracle, you have Microsoft SQL Server, right? So all these 6 engine options are provided by this RDS, right? You can choose any of it and then you can do it. So now what we are doing is MySQL we are choosing. Then you see here MySQL edition. It says MySQL community. Just keep it like this. You have only one choice here. Version you keep it the default latest one, right? Now you just come down. You see templates.
Right.
In templates you have production, dev test, and free tier, right? So you see.
Hi, Harish. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Yeah. So are we doing hands-on?
Yeah, Pradeep. So we have just started. You can go to AWS console and you can join.
Okay, I'm already there. So
perfect.
What to?
Go to
Okay.
RDS. Just choose RDS in the search.
RDS. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll be on this page here. You just click on create database. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Once you click on create database, you will have this standard create option.
Okay. Create database. So I'm in the dashboard now. Okay. Create database. I can see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the RDS dashboard.
Yeah, I'm in the same page. Yeah.
Perfect. So now this by default standard create is chosen, correct?
Yes.
So this will give you all configuration options. Now you go to this engine options where you choose MySQL.
Okay, yeah.
So this MySQL, and then you have addition MySQL community version, you keep it like that. Template you command. So here you see, choose a sample template to meet your use case, right? So practically, as you can understand, right, for production environment, we have this particular template, right? For dev or test environment, you have dev test option. For us here, free tier option is there, right? So when you change this, you will have certain features which will change here. Say like, I'll just tell you, see, I'm choosing production here, right? And then you just come down little bit, right? So come down. You see here, availability and durability. Just come to this. What do you see? You have multi-AZ deployment option. So you can deploy in multiple availability zone. Prashant, you can see this and you can relate to what we discussed.
Yes, yes.
Right? So create a standby instance recommended for production uses. Creates a standby in a different availability zone to provide data redundancy, eliminate IO freezes, and minimize latency spikes during system backup. Otherwise, whenever backup will happen, so there will be no spikes, so right, latency spikes, so slowness will be there. So this standby instance will be created. If you choose the production template, so it will give you a choice here. Now you go there and choose free tier. Here you choose the last one, third option in the template. Choose free tier. Again go to that availability. What do you see here? What happened?
Disabled.
Disabled, right? So you don't need it for free tier, right? So that is the purpose of that template, right? So that is helping you in selecting some options, right? So you can still choose production and you can still go there and you can just disable, choose not to use it, right? But here it will by default, if you choose free tier, then it will, or your dev test environment if you are intended for, then you can choose this one. So let's choose free tier option and come down. You look at settings. What all things you see here? You have DB
Credentials.
instance identifier. Yeah. So just give some instance name here. I'll say RDS MySQL 1. I'm creating that MySQL database instance actually. So I'll choose MySQL 1. RDS MySQL 1 I'll choose. Okay. Choose something like that.
Okay.
Now you see credential settings, right? So here you have to choose some username. I'll say MySQL master. So some master username, right? Login ID for the master user of the database instance. I say like MySQL master. You can choose whatever you wish. So you can choose, but you need to remember, right? So MySQL master. You choose MySQL master. You need to put some password here. So I'll just say some password. I'll say like some password I'll choose that I need to remember. Okay, so I have chosen some password, right? Confirm that password. So I need to remember that. Choose some password that you can remember, and it should be strong enough because we are going to give the public access as well. Keep some minimum 8 character and use that special character or something. Don't use slash or single quote or double quote or at the rate. At the rate not allowed. So the password can be anything, right? 8 character minimum up to 41. Done? Please confirm, Prashant.
Yeah, done.
Done? Good. So now we have DB instance size option, right? So here you see all these two things disabled. When we had chosen production, we had all these three enabled. So there we could choose some standard classes or memory optimized classes, right? But because we have chosen free tier in the template, so we are having option for exactly the same thing, right? What we were getting in EC2. Remember what we were getting? T2.micro only, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So here it says db.t2.micro, but by looking at this vCPU and 1 GB RAM, you can understand the same thing, right? 1 vCPU, 1 GB RAM. This is what we were getting in T2 micro. So we are getting this 1 vCPU and all. So fine, that's fine. So we'll manage with that. So general purpose SSD, right? GP2. This is what is the EBS volume that we were choosing there. You remember? So that's why I told this is internally EC2, EBS, snapshot, all those things that we have focused a lot, right? So that's why I focus on more on that initial learnings, right? So if you are having good hands-on, good practice, good understanding of the storage volume, right? EBS, different types of storage options, and then you have good understanding of S3, snapshot, right? All those things, and then EC2 instance, right? So other things you can build on top of that, right? So I spend most of my time while explaining, right? While building the base, right? So once the base is done, you can relate to it, right? So Pradeep, you are able to relate, right? Here, this is like same as EC2 instance, correct?
Yes.
And then this is just our EBS volume only, right?
Yeah, correct.
Correct. So we are choosing here general purpose. We are not choosing provisioned one. We are choosing general purpose SSD. So that's what today I was telling to Prashant that we got additional provisioned IOPS last week, right? So on 25th there was one announcement from AWS, right? So now we have IO2 as well. So what's new at AWS, like that you keep searching every week. So you'll come to know something new will be coming. So you have this additional provision IOPS option now. So it was recently announced. So just choose, let it be general purpose SSD. Let's keep that allocated 20 GB, gigabyte of storage, right? You look at this storage scaling. Enable storage auto scaling. Enabling this feature will allow the storage to increase once the specified threshold is exceeded. Right? So you can choose this option, then what will happen? Maximum it will go to whatever level that you specify here, right? So maximum storage threshold you can choose here. If at any point of time, if you require any guidance or something, you feel free to click on info button, right? So it will give you small help, right? Here it will come some basic information. Then if you want to learn further on that, you can click on learn more in a new window, and then you can just read about it thoroughly whenever you get a chance, right? So next time you are doing that hands-on, you can continue to check all those documentations, right? Whatever it is provided as a context sensitive documents, right? So now here for our choice, we are not enabling this auto scaling, right? Not needed here for us. Come down and look at the connectivity part. Right? So if you need auto scaling, you can choose auto scaling as well, right? So in the connectivity, you see here virtual private cloud, VPC. Right? Pradeep, choose that VPC. See this notice? After a DB is created, you can't change the VPC. So choose the default one for now, and now you just click on additional connectivity configuration.
Okay.
So you have the subnet group, because here this RDS instance will be created in a subnet group actually. So DB subnet group that defines which subnets and IP ranges the DB instance can use in the VPC you selected. So just keep it default here, right? So if say like if you are creating your own VPC like we had created earlier, right? So if you're creating your own VPC, you won't have the default subnet group or something. So you can go to RDS and then there you can choose this subnet group options. I will show you that as well. Okay, so for now, you choose this subnet group as default, and then you choose here public access as yes. We're going to give public access because we want to access. You remember how we were accessing our EC2 instance, right?
Publicly, yeah.
Right. So we were allowing our IP address in the security group, right? So like that only. This is also same thing, nothing different. Whatever you have learned so far, based on that, you can do whatever you wish in AWS, right? Because you have the understanding of the core concept, right? So just relate with this, with the security group, right? It's mentioned also EC2 instances and devices outside the VPC can connect to your database. Choose one or more VPC security groups that specify EC2 instance and device inside the VPC can connect to the database. So you can choose right from where you want to allow which IP address, what port, all those things you can choose in the security group. So for now, existing VPC security group default, let it be default. For you also default is coming like this.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So we'll check later, right, whether we have the security group rules and all added. Availability zone, you let it be no preference. You remember while doing that EC2 also, it was asking which availability zone you want to create, right? You see options are there. So I'm choosing no preference. So Amazon will decide, right, based on the availability. So let them decide because anyways, this is not going to make any difference for us, right, 2A, 2B or 2C. So let them decide wherever they have more resources there, they will create, right? So let's not put much burden on Amazon, right? So here you see database port 3306. Choose no preference, and here you choose 3306. This is the port, default port, where we will be connecting to MySQL, this 3306. And for this 3306, we need to allow the inbound traffic in security group, right? So that we can, from our machine, we can connect to that particular instance, right? Now you just see database authentication. Let there be password authentication. Password and IAM database authentication. So you can have IAM integrated as well, right? So here you just try to understand the difference here. Password authentication, password and IAM database authentication. Just try to understand. See, if it is say like traditional database that you have migrated, right, from your on-premises to Amazon, right? So you will have your own users created for database created by the database administrator, right? So if you choose this password authentication, so that will be functional. Here, if you want to extend it, right? If you want to choose password and IAM database authentication, so this will use the database password and then user credentials through IAM users and roles, right? So here, whatever IAM users, roles that we used to create, so that it will be extended to that level, right? IAM database authentication, so identity and access management, right? So for now, you choose password authentication. Come down, look at this additional configuration. Just expand this. Expanded.
Yes.
Okay. So what all things you can see here? You want to give some name for this database? Because what name you have given earlier, it was what name for what? You remember I had given some RDS hyphen MySQL, some name I had given earlier?
Yes.
What was that name? Name of what?
That is database name.
No. That is name of the database instance.
Correct. Instance. Sorry.
Now this will be the name of the database, right? So you want to give some create some database. If you choose, then it will be created. If you do not specify a database name, RDS doesn't create a database. So your database will not be created. You have to go there and create it manually. Making sense?
Yeah.
Right. So just give some name of your choice. What name you are looking for? MySQL database it is, right? So let me say MySQL DB1. Making sense? That name was something else, right? That name was something else I had given. I had given RDS-MySQL 1. And here I'm saying MySQL DB1. Okay. Okay. So let's give like this. MySQL DB1. So this will be my database name that will be created. DB parameter group, right? So keep this default option group. You keep it default, right? So no. Yeah.
One clarification here.
Please.
So without the database, how you can have an instance?
Without web server that we installed and ran later, we had our EC2 instance, right?
Huh.
So the same thing, no?
Okay.
Nothing different, nothing different. See, you are having one virtual machine that we are calling here instance, right? So you are having one virtual machine. You can install your own server. On top of that, you can install database software, right?
Correct, correct.
Exactly like that. What we are doing here, we are creating one instance on which we'll create one database, or we may not create our database, our choice, correct? Same like how we created one EC2 instance. That was just an operating system installation, and then nothing was there. Later, we just install some packages like HTTPD, and then we started running our own website there. We defined some index.html, and we browsed our website, right? So like that only, if you don't create database, still you can create the server. You can create the virtual machine, but that virtual machine will be of no use, correct?
Correct. Oh, that way. Right. Got it. Got it.
Yeah. So, but you can do it because that is the first step, right? First step is building the server. Then only you can build the application on top of it. You can install application, right? So similarly, it's just giving you a choice. You can just, if you say that, okay, you please create this database name. However, what happens? Say like you don't want to create a database because see, we are just designing things and we are just trying to create instance, but we don't know the database name, or some database administrator will be there, right, in the organization. Correct? So this database can be created by that database administrator, right? He will decide, right, what all databases are needed in the organization, right? So say like if it is not in our domain to create a database, so we have a choice. We can skip this option. We will not create this database, right? So the database administrator at a later point of time, right, will connect to this particular instance and create whatever databases are required, whatever tables are required, whatever things are, he will design the schema, he will define everything, he will take care of that part, right? So for that only we are having this option. Clear? Clear, Prashant? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you just go with this default, and you see here backup, enable automatic backup option.
Yeah.
So we can define here automatic backup. You can see here we're discussing about backup, retention period, and all those things, right? So just see, and then we can maybe disable it. So just see here, enable automatic backup. Enabling backup will automatically create backups of your database during a certain time window, right? You have backup retention period. So for how long you want to retain it. So I told you, right, 35 days, correct? So this is the option, right? So you can choose up to 35 days starting here at the 0 days. So you have the choice. You can choose this option, backup retention period, right? So choose the number of days that RDS should retain automatic backup for this instance, right? So they'll take automatic. So later you can just keep copy that snapshot to S3. You can just write some function. You can write some kind of automation you can do where you can keep it for longer. You can put it in Glacier. You can do whatever with that snapshot up to you, right? So here you have a choice of up to 35 days. So now this backup window you can select. See, if you say select backup, select the window, so you're getting a time, right? In UTC, you can just decide you want it at say like 1 o'clock and UTC, and you are giving window of say like 4 hours. Okay, so 4 hours I'm giving you a window from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, right? So you can take the backup because I have no load on my server at that time, right? So this is what I am choosing for my maintenance window. So I can choose that. I can say no preference where no Amazon will decide, right, when to do that. Monitoring, enable like that. So now you understood this option, right? So just we can disable it for now. No need. Now you look at this monitoring. You just click on this enable enhanced monitoring. You see granularity, right? You can choose how frequently you want to do that, right? Enabling enhanced monitoring metrics are useful when you want to see how different processes or threads use the CPU. So you can enhance it, how frequently you want to do it. You can choose that monitoring role you can choose, right? So default monitoring role. So this is the option for enhanced monitoring. So for our purpose here, we are not choosing this, right? You see, look at this log exports, select the log types to publish to Amazon CloudWatch logs. So if you choose here error logger, general logger, slow query log, this different types of logs, right? So what can happen here? You can select this or select these logs. So this will be published to CloudWatch. Getting it? So you can select the log types for exporting the same to CloudWatch logs. Some role you need to define. Here you see IAM role. Following service linked role is used for publishing logs to CloudWatch logs, right? So some this kind of some role that we discussed in IAM. So some role automatically, this is AWS managed role, right? So for now we'll be keeping it unchecked, right? So if you just enable this, the log will be exported to CloudWatch, and you can just view that to the CloudWatch graphs, and all those options will come. So for you want to know more about it, you can just click on learn more info, like that. You can click a lot of options are there, a lot of readings are there, right? So you can just do it when you have free time, right? So now you see, look at this maintenance. So we discussed about the minor version upgrade, right? You remember, Prashant?
Yeah.
So minor version, major version.
Yeah.
Pradeep, you were there that time?
No, Harish.
Okay, 1 second. Let me explain it in short. Okay, so say like we have some MySQL versions. For every software, there will be some version, right? So there will be some version numbers, right? So for example, say like 5.5 or say like 5.6 or 5.7. So like that, there will be some version. Okay. So this 5.5 or 5.6 or 5.7, this is called major version.
Okay.
This is called major version. Okay. Now you have 5.5 dot, say like 53. You have say like 5.6 dot, say like 34, some number. So you have say like 5.7 dot, say like some 21. So you look at this part, correct? Last one, apart from this.
Yeah.
That is called minor version. Getting it?
Yeah. Okay.
Now, if I have 5.5.53, from here, if I am moving to 5.5.54, or from this 34, I'm moving to 5.6.35, what is getting upgraded? Minor version or major version?
Yeah, minor one.
Minor version. So if you are upgrading the minor version, right? So that is called minor version upgrade. Simple, right? So you have
Yes.
something like x.y.z. So this will be major version. This is minor version. Clear?
Okay.
Now let's go back. So enabling auto minor version upgrade. You see, enabling auto minor version upgrade will automatically upgrade to new minor versions as they are released. The automatic upgrades occur during the maintenance window for the database, and you can select the maintenance window here. How we were selecting maintenance window for backup, right? Remember backup, enable
Yes.
it, and then we were selecting the window here. So like that, I have not enabled that. So here you see for maintenance also, right? You have the because all these things can impact the server's performance, right? See, if you are doing some upgrade during the peak hours, right, that will not make sense. Right? If you are taking backup during the critical hours when lot of production related things are happening, so that is not making sense. So we need to mention some kind of window, right? You can choose some window where we can say that I want this backup to happen on Sunday, right? At say like 1 o'clock, right? UTC, I give 5 hours for that, or I give only 3 hours for that. Right? So I can choose a window. During that window, they should do this minor version upgrade. So this will happen automatically. That will be upgraded. You don't have to think about it. So that's why I was telling, like while I was explaining this RDS, right? So things are happening automatically, right? So now I am not doing all this. I'm just not enabling. I'm not choosing any preference. Can you relate this deletion protection from somewhere else where you have learned it? Just recall and tell me where you saw this option, because RDS you are seeing for first time, but where you saw some kind of option similar to this?
Yes, 3 bucket.
No. Deletion protection for EC2 instance.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So there was option, if you choose that option, right? So until that is selected, you cannot delete that, correct? Now, if you select this, enable detection, deletion, protection, what will happen? Until this is enabled, we cannot delete the database. Until this is selected, we cannot delete. So we have to go and uncheck it and then delete it. Like that you have to do. So protects the database from being deleted accidentally. While this option is enabled, you can't delete it. So for now, we will be creating and deleting, right? So we are not bothered. So we will not choose this option, right? And now you look at the estimated monthly cost and just understand this. For free tier, we have 750 hours of Amazon RDS. Where you saw this 750 hours for EC2, right? 42 micro, we are getting 750 hours. For RDS, we are separately getting another 750 hours for the db.t2 micro instance. Now you are getting here 20 GB of general purpose storage, 20 GB of automated backup storage, and any user initiated DB snapshot. So there we were getting how much? 30 GB, right? In 30 GB you have to manage your SSD volume as well as your snapshot or whatever, correct? Here you are getting total 40 GB, 20 GB, 20 GB, like that you are getting. So there you had a choice. So 30 GB you were getting, and then in that 30 GB, how much you are spending for volume and how much for snapshot. But here 20 GB of snapshot also free, 20 GB of general purpose SSD volume also free, right? So this, so now we have chosen 20 GB already, right? So if you take up one backup, so we will not be charged. If you take more than that, then it will be charged. So when you are free tier usage expires, right? Or if your application usage exceeds the free usage tiers, you simply pay a standard page as you go. So this is the model, pay as you go service rates will be defined in pricing page, right? So that is fine. I just click on create database. So it's creating, it will take a couple of minutes, right? So what all things it's going to do? It's going to create one EC2 instance for us of the type dbt2 micro, right? And then it will be creating one database also on that, right? We're doing all those stuffs, but within a couple of minutes, right? Once it is done, right? What we can do? You can click on that view credential details to see the username and password credentials and the endpoint, right? So you can also see the endpoints from here. So as of now, do we have any endpoint? No, right? So it's on the way. This will be the actually name of the this instance through which we can connect. So that is what is endpoint. So you'll get the endpoint, and what port is going to come here?
3036 or something we saw, right?
Yeah, 3306. That port will come here, and some DNS name will come here. FQDN will come fully qualified. Domain name, that name will come here, and then port will come. We can copy that endpoint thing, and we can connect how we were connecting right earlier using some other client tool, right? We were using putty to connect to EC2 instance, right? So here also we should have some SQL client, right, to connect, correct? So here we will use workbench. You see, I have this tool. Welcome to MySQL workbench. This is one of the very famous graphical tool for MySQL client. So this is a MySQL client. So for connecting to MySQL database, right, this MySQL workbench is quite a good tool. So we can use this to connect to the database. We'll go to this database menu and we'll choose connect to databases, right? So this needs to be installed, Prashant, actually. So okay, you can skip this aspect. I'll just show you, give you a demo, right? So you can just try that at a later stage, right? Okay. So Pradeep, you want to install now, or you want to see now and then install later?
Actually, Harish, mine is also office laptop, so
okay,
I will not be able to install.
Yeah, sure. So you can skip it, right? But no, I'll tell you how to install this.
Okay.
Yeah. So from where did you launch this, Harish?
This one is like on my local machine, actually. I have this installed in my system. Okay. This will be Microsoft installer. That package will be there, MSI. So this will get installed, right? This is like no exe or something. So this you can skip that. You see, my database is created. What about yours?
Still creating.
Creating, Harish.
Okay. Okay.
But status is available.
Oh, status became available, and here this message you have not got yet.
Yeah, not yet. Successful message is not yet come.
Okay, it will come. It will be on the way. It will come.
Yeah, it is created now.
Perfect. Perfect. So you see here endpoint came, no? Correct. See here, Prashant, you also got?
It's still creating, but it's already showing the endpoint for me.
Perfect. So almost done. So almost done. You might be getting the message as well, right? So you see the endpoint and port. So this is the actual endpoint, and this is the port number, right? So what is more important here is this security group. So how we used to have security group for EC2 instances like that. The security, this is also instance only. So this is how instances worked, how monitoring option was there, You go to that monitoring. You see this some no monitoring as of now. Nothing is there. No utilization. Nothing. So it's like that. We'll see that also. Right. You have that maintenance and backup. You can just choose that option. You can take snapshot. You have all those features here. So in connectivity and security, we have the endpoint. So for now, I'll just not display this credential details, because what it will contain: the username, right? Sorry, the name of the user, correct, and the password, and what else? This will contain password in plain text. You just click and see. Confirm. Just confirm.
I can see the username password.
Password you can see in clear text, right?
Yeah.
Correct. What about you, Prashant?
View credentials, right?
Yeah, click on view credential details. Copy paste those data.
Yeah, I can see the password.
Yeah. Correct. So it will be in clear text. So just copy paste and keep it in Notepad.
Okay.
Okay, you can keep that safely. Now I have just closed that. You can close that notification, right? So now you have this connectivity and security, right? So what is more important here, in order to connect to the instance, how we were checking our VPC security group? So like that, you go to this security group, click on that security group in this connectivity and security tab. You have a default security group or some other security group here active?
Default.
So just click on that. Now it says SG161, some number will be there, security group ID. Just click on that. Now you see inbound, all traffic, all. You see what has happened here?
Yeah.
So inbound rule has become like all traffic, all. Outbound, all traffic, all. So this is not good, right? This all traffic, all. Is it good?
No.
Not good. Click on edit inbound rule. Right. So whatever all traffic, all is there, change that. And what we should choose? MySQL. I've just typed MySQL and I have got option of MySQL and Aurora as well. So this Aurora also compatible with MySQL. So this also takes 3306 port. Source, I will say my IP, right? So when I say anywhere, then it becomes 000. I say my IP. So it will take my public IP, the NATed one, right? We discussed about that. Now this is my access to MySQL instance. So this is my description I just mentioned. So I'll say save rule. So what will happen? It will allow, see, this is edit inbound rule. So I'm editing the inbound rule. You can deny, because anyways you are not going to connect now, right? So you can delete whatever rule is there, you delete it. What happens in security group? If rule is created, right, then it is allow rule only, right? So there is no deny rule. So if you are creating a rule, so that will be allowed. If you are not creating a rule, means by default everything is what? Allowed or denied?
Allowed.
No. If by
Denied.
default everything is allowed, then everybody will access everything, right? Our EC2 instance and all. So by default, everything is totally
Denied.
denied. So that is the security of this security group firewall. So this is a stateful security group, right? So here what happens? Whatever you are allowing specifically, that will be allowed both ways transactions. Once you connect, whatever response is coming, that also you'll get. So this is by default denied, but I am allowing it. So you can delete it. You can you can avoid any inbound rule as of now. You don't require anything, or maybe you may be having something for SSH, correct?
Right.
You may be having something for SSH, so that SSH will be gone if I am having the same. But for SSH, I am having different security group, Linux SG or something. So I'm fine. I'm good. So I'll just say MySQL Aurora for this particular security group. I'll say save rules. This rule has been saved. Inbound security group rules successfully modified on security group. Details: revoke inbound rule, create inbound rule. So one was revoked, another was created. So all was there. I removed that, created my own inbound rule for 3306, right? So this is good. So now I am ready, right, for connecting to the RDS instance. So I'll go back to AWS and I'll go to RDS, right? Right. So before I go there, right, so let me show you from where in future, whenever you wish, from where you can.
So to come to the dashboard now, is it?
Yeah, you can remain on RDS dashboard, right? So what I'm going to show you here is, you can remain on RDS dashboard, right? So I'm telling you about the tool, another tool for connecting to the database, right? So how you will configure at a later point of time, right? As of now, you are not doing, but later, how will you do? So later, you just watch the video, right? And then you just do that. Okay, you can just configure that, right? So we have the recording in place, right? So you can download MySQL Workbench. What you can do? What do you want to search? Download what? MySQL Workbench. Got it? Download MySQL Workbench. Just try to search. Download, just type the keyword download MySQL Workbench and press enter. What is the first one? dev.mysql.com downloads Workbench, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Just open that, go to that, just see what is coming. You see? So it shows Microsoft Windows, recommended download, 32-bit and 64-bit. So if you go to this link, you will have 32-bit. So here Windows x86 64-bit MSI installer, Microsoft installer, this will install, right? So you can MySQL Workbench community win64.msi, this package will be downloaded. So what you can do, you can download this package. Clear?
Okay.
Correct. So you can download this package and you can install that package. You will just double click, that package name will be like this. Once it is downloaded, it will be like this. So once you download it, you can double click, it will get installed, right? So if you face any challenges in the installation of Workbench, right? So it will give you some options. Sometimes what happens, you require some dependency package or Microsoft Visual C++. You heard about VC++, Microsoft Visual C++. So there will be some Microsoft Visual C++ redistributable tool. So that software, again, you have to search. So Microsoft Visual C++, redistributable, like that, you see, some option came, right? So you can download from the Microsoft.com. Understood? So if you are facing any challenge, you can download this. right? This package will install runtime components, this detailed system requirement, install instructions, right? On this page, choose the download button, run, save, right? So what you have to do, click on download button, right? So redistributable 64 or x86, you can choose that 64 and you can say next, right? And then you can download that. Understood? You can do that.
Yeah.
Once you install this VC++, say like in case, if say like that might be there in your system, but in case if this doesn't work, if it says that no, this is not getting installed, right? So what you will do, and if it complains about VC++, right? So in that case, you can go there, you can install that, right? You can download, you can install, right? So thank you for downloading. It will ask you to download, and then it will ask you to install, right? So you can, this is just exe only, so you can install that. Once you install this, you install this MySQL workbench, right? What will happen? Then you'll have one software like this. So far you're good, you understood, right?
Yeah.
So once you install MySQL workbench software, right, this you will have option of database. You see this menu, and then connect to database. That's simple. You will not face any issue. Okay, based on this video, you can follow it. Now, if you just click on database, and then what do you have chosen? Connect to database. Right? Very simple interface. You see your host name they are asking, right? Correct? Host name 127.0.0.1 means what? This is a loop back for the same system. This will be the loop back address, right? So this means localhost. So there is no localhost or something in my machine, right? So what name should be there here? What name I should choose? I should go to my database, right? Here I have RDS MySQL 1. I just click on that, right? In the connectivity and security tab, I have the endpoint listed. I'll just copy that, right? And then I'll go back to my software, that workbench software, where I have chosen that option from database for connecting to the database. So there I'll just paste it. You see the port already is 3306. What is the username?
Whatever you copied, that time same thing.
What username I had created?
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. RD.
No.
RD minus.
Okay.
Yes, okay. DB. DB1.
Master 1.
Okay.
Master user, yeah. I think MySQL Master or MySQL Master 1.
MySQL Master, I think.
Okay. So if it is MySQL Master, right, then it should connect. If it is Master 1, I am thinking maybe Master 1, right? So let's see. I'll just give the password. I remember the password. Let me try the password that I have put there. So I say okay. If it is the correct user, it will connect. Let's see. It's not the correct user. By now it should have connected. Firewall we have already set, so they should allow me. So what we can do, if it is not connecting, we can cancel, right? I'll just wait for another few seconds and then I'll cancel it, right? So workbench has encountered a problem, cannot access this something, okay? Just say close, go to database, right? It's closed. I'll just go to this workbench. one more time. I'll go to database. I'll say connect to database, and then I'll just choose that, and then I'll paste that. My SQL master you told, right? Okay.
Yes.
Let me try with my SQL master and the password. Okay, let me say okay and say fine. Oh, I think it's working this time. Correct?
Yeah.
Connected. You see, Prashant?
Yeah, I can see it, yes.
Yeah. So you see this left, right, all those things are there. You see, just click this. You have this option here. You just click, that will be gone. You click this, it will be gone. You click this, it will come. So this is just like for controlling the interface. So if it is blue, that means it is visible. If it is grayed out, it is not visible. Like that, no? You just make yourself comfortable, right? So just see. So whatever. So now you see MySQL DB1 I had chosen. You remember? Correct? So
Yeah.
here it says schemas. So now schemas, this is a structure of my particular database where these tables, views, everything, right? So that is called schema, right? So this is kind of skeleton, right? Whatever is the structure, right? So here this MySQL DB1 tables, right? So don't have any table or something. I have database, I don't have a table. You can create a table here, right? So want to create a table, you just do a right click here, say create table. You see what came? It's asking for new table, some creation of new table name, right? You can choose like this, or you can have another option. You can do right click and create table like. Create table like what? Like some user table or something. So you can choose like create table like user table. So see another tab open here. So whatever you were doing now, whatever you are doing now, so like that is coming, right? So in case of this user, right, table name is coming as user, schema is coming like this, comment is there. Here, this screen, right, seems to be overlapping. You see here? Can you figure out?
Yeah.
So you can, here what you can do, you can control here, you have this, no? You see this blue, you can just click on that. You see, things have changed, correct, no? So it was coming like this, column name and this and that. Just click on that. Don't get confused, right, with this. You'll think, oh, what to do now? Not showing anything. So you just click on that. Now you see, you have the table, user table, you are getting username, you are getting email, password, create time. All these columns are created. Correct now? If you are choosing that, this one. Here you need to create it. You have to just type it, right? You have to choose whether it is a primary key, right? You have to select things. This is not null, unique, like that you will have options, right? So here in user table, you have this options, data type, varchar, 255, 32, like that you have the choices, right? You see this?
Yeah.
Understood? This is relational database, right?
Correct. Yeah.
You have column and record we need to add, correct? So we have these things, right? So you want to add something to this table, right? You want to add here a few things. You want to add any column? User city. It will be say like varchar. It should be fine. You must enter it. So let's make it not null, right? And this is not going to be the primary key, right? So You want to enter some other field. What do you want to enter? Another attribute of the user. Mobile number. Mobile number you can enter. That is also mandatory here. So like that you can do. Right. So you can say like that. Now mobile number you can username you can make it primary key. So like username you can make it primary. You see this symbol came here. Yellow symbol came, right? So like this you have done. You just say apply, right? And you'll get this SQL script to be applied to the database, right? So this is what will come. Graphically you have selected it. Otherwise, you remember earlier days we had to write all these things, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Now you have graphically you have chosen it. Whatever create table name in that particular database, username, this column name, this. So a lot of things we have to type, right? So directly, if you are still you prefer it, if you are comfortable with this, this is called SQL. SQL means structured query language. Structured query language. You might be doing sometime select asterisk from table name, right? Where name equal to this, like that. Right?
Yes.
You can try to do all those SQL queries we can run, right? So whenever you get a chance, right? So please do download this client tool, and then you try to connect and try to just play around with the table. You will have some experience of creating and maintaining some simple tables, right? So I'll give you certain documentation. I'll just point you to some URLs where you can simply, within some 10 minutes you can learn all these things. So just click on apply, right? So you see this is successful. Now you just say finish, right? So this has happened. Now you just click on this. You can close this if you want to. You can close that one. That another one we were creating, so you don't want to save that one. So like this you are having. You see here, you just go on, keep on checking all this and create a new SQL tab for executing queries. You just click on this. You see this tab has come where you can type things. So do we have anything in our table? We don't have, right? What is the command? Select. Just guide me. Asterisk from which table? Table name was what?
User.
Okay, user table. Okay. Then what? What should I say? I will run it. You see here this symbol, execute the selected portion of the script or everything. So you can select and you can run that part, or simply you can run. Let me click. You see, I just ran what it says. Select from user limit error code, no database selected. You see, no database is selected, right? So there is a problem here. So here I can say like use, and I can just, this option also there, I can just drag it like this. So just dragged it and that name came here. You see? And then some symbols like this you can use. See, the error has gone. Now if it was like this red, as soon as I say here semicolon, then it says blue. So it looks good. So let me click on that. See, no error came, and you see what it shows, null. No error right now.
Yeah.
0 row affected, 0 rows returned. So nothing was returned, nothing was 0 only returned. So I have nothing, so that's why it is not showing anything. So, or you can simply, in place of this before user, you can also say like my SQL db dot user. If you don't want this line, you can remove that line, and here also you can say like this. You can clear this log, and you can simply say execute. Some error came. So it says select from this unknown database. MySQL DB is not there. So it should be MySQL DB 1. Correct? Got it? You see name.
Yeah.
So that's why it will not run, right? So you say like this, and you just run it now. Is it fetching now? See, it worked. Understood? This kind of things you can do. You can simply try something. If you do a mistake, doesn't matter. You just learn, right? So like this, you can select. You want to put some data at least, right? So what is the command? Something like insert, right?
Update. Okay, insert.
Insert into table name, right? What is the table name?
My
User table, right?
user. Yeah.
User. So I can say my SQL db1 dot user. This table, right? Insert into what? It's not complete yet. Insert into will also take values, right? You have to give the values. What values you want to give? Tell me. What all things were there? Username are there, right? So
Yeah,
just say Dave user one. Yeah. So I think like this you should give single quote you put, and then you see the color changes, and then put a comma, and then you can give another one. So what is the email address? Dave user one, right? @ say like guys.in, and then put that in that single quote thing. Then it color changes, you see, right? And then put a comma. Like this you can put. Now what? After email, some password. Now what? Apart from password, time. I will just put it null only. I will not put anything here. I will just put null. I don't want to put anything here. So I will just say null. Create time. I don't want. Now city. I say Bangalore. And then what I want to say? Mobile number I want to give. So I give something, right? Now I close that. Do you think this will work?
No.
Why?
It's not end actually.
End means only one line is there, no? If you are talking about semicolon?
No, actually.
It's not enough?
Yeah.
How? Let me try. Let's get the error. Where is the error? Success, right?
Okay.
So what doubt you had? Why it will not run? What you were thinking?
No, I used this very long back.
Okay.
So
you might be recalling trying to connect that this person has not given the column name. That's what you may be thinking, right?
Yeah, something.
Yeah. So what happens is when you are giving values for each and every column, then you don't have to mention the column name. Otherwise, if you want to make entry only for certain columns, say like you just want to make entry for say like what all things are there, you remember? Email is there, see here. Username is there, correct? I don't want to make entry in username, but username is unique, so we have to give that username like this. You have to say comma. What else? You want to make entry in, say like mobile. So whatever is not null, you have to mention that. That is needed only. So email, and you say mobile, you have to say like city, you have to say like mobile. You just want to make entry only in these 4 fields, right? And you are going to give only 4 things here, right? And remainings are not mandatory. So if you are trying like this, so that is, then you have to give the column name. You understood the point?
Yes.
If you are making entry for each and every column, then you don't have to mention that column in the bracket, right? So here you can mention like this. Right, it got it? So you just try to execute if it works. Something is not null or something, then it will work. So insert into this is error code duplicate entry happened, leave user 1. So that it will not take, you know why? Because that is a primary key. We created a primary key, right? So primary key cannot be duplicate, right? So make it 2, right? Now you execute. So now it says insert into this one row affected, one warning came. Field password doesn't have a default value. So we have not defined any default value or something for password, so that became black. Now it's okay. So now if I say all this and then if I can take another one. If you want to continue here, you want to take another file here to run some other script. So you can just run some other script here. So tell me that select command one more time. Select asterisk from this
User.
dot user and you execute it. You see now it is coming, right? Data is coming. So data is coming for the first one, everything coming. For this dev user 2, this password is not coming, right?
Yeah.
So this is what, this is how you have to practice, right? So making sense, comfortable, happy?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'll just you see a connect, this is important, right? So database, connect to database like this, you should do that. And then you can try all those things, you can exit, right? If you are ending this, so I'll just disconnect. So now it is saying 0 connection. So it will show the connections, right? When it is connected, right, so it will show the connection. Say like you go there, you connect to database, right? So you can save that. Okay. So now let's when you choose this one, right? Comfortable, right, with this one? So just now, you just have to put that. Just choose that. Put. What about that? MySQL master, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I created a MySQL master. Password is not stored. I think that. Let me put that password here. Now I say okay. So you see, it's trying to connect here. Sometimes what happens, some network glitch or something is there, right? So you may face some difficulty in connecting, right? So otherwise it may take some 30 seconds, right? So you connect it back, you just see tables are being faced, you have the user table, right? So it's just coming up. So you have these columns, right? So you have this username, right? So what is the type, whatever the things, so everything else there. So what I was telling actually, this is something that is clear. Now you just see where it is. Yeah. So if you refresh this database, where it is, this one. You see 2 connections. I think the previous connection is still not cleared. This 2 connections, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So earlier it was 0, right? So I had not refreshed, correct? So You can see how many people, how many users, how many are connected, right? So you can see, and it will show you that connection thing, right? So this one. Now let me status scripting. You can see all those things, right? So you have these logs, you have dashboard. You see dashboard, you can see. You see the dashboard? See? Clear everything. Just see the dashboard. I went to server, I just know dashboard. You see the dashboard is visible here, right? So what is going on? Sending this much of KB, outgoing network traffic, right? Receiving 4.20 seconds ago, receiving this much, read request, 0 pages, write request, 6% uses. Now InnoDB disk writes, reads, reading, create, insert, update, what all things are happening. So a lot of things to explore here, right? So you can use all those things. You can just try check for update. You can just here you can close connection. Okay, so just let me exit. So it will refresh after some time, right? So you can see the connections will go to 0 again. So at 4 connections, it's I don't know how it's showing who is making the connection. Maybe something role or something if you have created, right? Something that also can try to connect, right? So let's see. Let me refresh. Okay, so it's showing multiple connections to the instance, right? So maybe some checks are happening, some kind of logs for logs, some connections are happening, right? So some read or write might be, I'm not doing anything, but some log, say like we are going to this monitoring or something, right? So it might be trying to fetch that, because all these things are managed and automated, right? It's not like only I am controlling it, right? So things are managed, maintained, right? And checked, right? All these things are coming up. So some roles will be connecting to it, right? And then it will be trying to fetch some data. So those kind of connections can happen like that, right? Okay, so it's showing like the connections, right? So now write IOPS, freeable memory, read IOPS, a lot of other aspects to it. Fine. With this, what I wanted to tell you, we'll take a break, quick break. So just before that, I'll just tell you some this Chrome. What you can do, you can just go to dev.mysql.com, right? dev.mysql.com/.